In this lecture, we are going to discuss about 4-bar mechanism. We will start with parts of the 4-bar mechanism, Grashoff's law and inversion of the 4-bar mechanism. There are 3 inversion in 4-bar mechanism, namely inversion 1, inversion 2 and inversion 3. Let us see the concept one by one. 4-bar mechanism. The simplest and basic kinematic chain is a 4-bar chain. Let me explain the concept of 4-bar mechanism with this simple example. See here we have 4 links. This is link 1 which is fixed, link 2, link 3 and link 4. Each link has connected by a pin joint. See here there is a pin joint here. Okay, so here I attached a motor. Now I am going to show you the simulation. See this simulation. When the crank rotates about a fixed point, what will happen? The rocker, that is the green color link, will oscillate about this fixed point. So this is called 4-bar mechanism. So this is how the rotary motion of crank converted into oscillating motion of rocker at the output. It consists of 4 links, namely 1, 2, 3 and 4. Each of them form turning pair. Say for example 1 and 2 form a turning pair at point B. 2 and 3 form a turning pair at point C. Similarly 3 and 4 form a turning pair at D. So a 4-bar mechanism consists of 4 links in which each link form a turning pair. The 4 links may be of different length. See here the length of the link 4 is smallest compared to the length of the remaining link. Now the question is, what is the purpose of 4-bar mechanism? So the 4-bar mechanism convert the rotary motion of crank into an oscillating motion of rocker at the output. Here the rocker is BC. So can you tell me one application of 4-bar mechanism? It's very simple. Our car wiper mechanism is an example for 4-bar mechanism. Windshield wiper in car. Okay, so where a motor will rotate with the help of electricity, the rotary motion of motor converted into an oscillating motion of wiper on windshield with the help of this 4-bar mechanism. Okay, let us see the parts of 4-bar mechanism. Totally there are 4 parts, 4 links, 1, 2, 3, 4. Link 1, the frame, the fixed link. Link 2, the crank. It is a link which makes a complete rotation about a fixed point. First let me fix the frame. So 1 is frame, then 4 is crank, a smallest link which makes complete rotation. Here the dot line represent the animation of rotation. Okay, so we always have to represent this line. Okay, it indicates that the crank make rotary motion. Then another part, lever. We can also call it as rocker or follower. It is a link which makes a oscillation or rotation, partial rotation about point P. So link 2 is lever. Then the remaining link 3. So what is link 3? Connecting rod. So what is connecting rod? It is a link which simply connect the crank and lever. So this is crank and this is lever. So the connecting rod simply connect the input link with the output link. So these are the parts of 4-bar mechanism. So while representing, you have to represent like this. First draw the diagram, mark 1, 2, 3, then mark the hidden dot lines, then represent 1, 2, 3, 4 separately, and then indicate 1 as frame, 2 as lever, 3 as connecting rod, 4 as crank. So now we are going to see about Grashoff's law. Okay, first I will tell you the Grashoff's law, then I will tell you the application of Grashoff's law. So the Grashoff's law states that the sum of the shortest and the longest link length should not be greater than sum of the remaining link. Here the shortest link 4, longest link 3. So S plus L should not be greater than, which means less than remaining 2 link P plus Q. Okay, so the sum of the shortest and the longest link should not be greater than sum of the remaining link. Okay, so what is the purpose of Grashoff's law? From the previous slide we know that all the link lengths are totally different. Now the question is, how do you find the length of the each link? So we must follow some condition. Okay, so this is one of the condition. You can take any value for S and L, but S plus L should be less than P plus Q. So this is the condition to be satisfied for 4-bar mechanism. Now the question is, what will happen when it does not satisfy this condition? So very simple. So why should it satisfy that condition? Because then only the crank makes continuous relative motion between link. So the application of Grashoff's law states that whenever you want to make a crank a complete rotation, then the given arrangement should satisfy this condition. If you want a crank to make a complete rotation, then the length of the links should be satisfy this condition: S plus L less than or equal to P plus Q. Okay, so that is the meaning of this paragraph. Okay, so Grashoff's law always need to be satisfied to make a crank a complete rotation. Then comes the inversion of 4-bar mechanism. So what is inversion? The method of obtaining different mechanism by fixing different link is called inversion. So let us consider a 4-bar mechanism like this. First I am going to fix the bottom link, then I am going to fix this link, then I am going to fix the connecting rod like this. Okay, so the process of obtaining different link by fixing different mechanism by fixing different link is called inversion. There are 3 possible inversion in 4-bar mechanism. So let us see that inversion. So inversion number 1, crank lever mechanism. Inversion number 2, double crank mechanism. Inversion number 3, double lever mechanism. The words itself will give you the meaning. Crank lever, so crank input, lever output. Double crank, which means crank, so input, output, both are crank. Double lever, which means lever, both lever act as an input as well as output. So let us see the inversion of 4-bar mechanism in detail. Crank lever mechanism. One of the best example for crank lever mechanism, beam engine. So what is beam engine? When the crank AB rotates about a fixed point A, the lever CD oscillate about a fixed point D. The end E of the lever CD connected to piston rod, so which reciprocate inside the cylinder. So this is the working of beam engine. So when the crank rotate about point A, the lever oscillate about point D. Meanwhile, the end of the lever reciprocate inside the cylinder. So what is the purpose of crank lever mechanism? So the purpose is to convert the rotary motion into reciprocating motion. You can also convert the reciprocating motion into rotary. That is also possible. So this is inversion 1, the basic 4-bar mechanism. So the basic 4-bar mechanism purpose always to convert the rotary motion into reciprocating or rotary motion into oscillating motion. Now I am going to do some modification on 4-bar mechanism. Say here the crank length. So 2 link has same length and the 2 links are act as a crank. It look like a parallelogram. So example for double crank mechanism, coupled rod of locomotive. See that word, double crank. So this is crank 1, this is crank 2. That's why it is called double crank mechanism. It's look like a coupled rod of locomotive. That's why it is called double crank mechanism. In this mechanism, the link AD and the link BC are equal in length, which has been connected by a connecting rod. There are many ways you can connect two wheels, right? You can use belt drive, gear drive, chain drive. There are many ways. But why do we prefer this double crank mechanism in locomotive? There is a special reason. Because the link CD act as a coupling rod. The link AB is fixed. Okay, so why the link AB is fixed? To maintain the constant distance between two wheels. In locomotive, for safety purpose, to avoid accident, we always need to maintain the center distance between two wheels. In double crank mechanism, okay, the link AB is nothing but the center distance between two wheels. Again, that link AB is fixed. So whenever a link AB is fixed, it will provide a better center distance between two wheels. There is no possibility of changing distance between two wheels. That's why we prefer double crank mechanism in coupled rod of locomotive. So the main reason to prefer double crank mechanism in locomotive, to maintain the constant distance between two wheels by fixing the link AB, which is not possible in other mechanism like belt drive, chain drive, or some other transmitting mechanism. So this is one of the main reason why we prefer double crank mechanism in locomotive. Again, this mechanism is meant for transmitting rotary motion of one wheel to rotary motion of another wheel. So here the rotary motion from one wheel converted into rotary motion in another wheel. So this is inversion 2. Next, inversion 3. So inversion 3 is, there are two types of inversion in inversion 3. One which satisfy Grashoff's law, one without satisfying Grashoff's law. So what will happen when satisfy Grashoff's law? A crank makes complete rotation. What will happen when a link doesn't satisfy Grashoff's law? It won't, there is no complete rotation for crank. So this is type 2. Here there is no crank, which means there is no complete rotation. There are 4 links here. Example for this mechanism, Watt indicator mechanism. So this mechanism was introduced by James Watt. That this purpose of this mechanism is to measure the work done by the steam engine. So this piston cylinder arrangement fixed inside the steam engine. Okay, the double lever mechanism attached to this piston arrangement. So when the piston moves ups and down, what will happen? There is a pencil attached at the end of point E. The point E traces a line on paper. There will be a paper on back side of this point E. Okay, so by tracing the point E on paper, we can find the total work done by the engine. So that's why it is called indicator mechanism. So the purpose of this indicator mechanism is to find the total work done by steam engine. Here we have 4 links. This A is fixer link, then link AC is another link. Okay, then link CE. At the end of the E there is a pencil. Below that there is a paper. Okay, so the point E traces a line on the paper. Then link BFD. So BFD is a single link. There is no connection at point F. So this is very important. Okay, so the link, so let me erase this. The link, see here, the link CE and AC BFD act as a lever. The displacement of BAD, here the displacement of BAD directly proportional to the amount of pressure inside the steam engine. Okay, for any small displacement of this mechanism, say for example from this point to this is point, so this pink line represents the displacement of this arrangement. Okay, the point E traces a line or like this on paper. So the initial position of the mechanism is shown by blue line, and this is the displaced position in pink line. Okay, so by measuring that displacement we can find the total work done by engine. So this is a special case of 4-bar mechanism which does not satisfy the Grasshoff's law. So with this we have discussed what is 4-bar mechanism, different parts of 4-bar mechanism, and inversion of the 4-bar mechanism, namely inversion 1, 2 and 3. Thank you for watching my video.